Hi, welcome to Far From Eden. I got this video from one of you guys. I've never seen this man's channel. I don't know about his other content. Wranglerstar, I think is the name of the channel. The link will be in the description. And I did watch this video. It's only a 5-minute long video talking about his experience as a firefighter and how to, as he describes them, chaos demons ruined it. And it's just beautiful. It's just not that they did that. It's not beautiful, but how he describes the brotherhood and just let's just get into it, you guys. Let's just watch it together. If you haven't seen it yet, well, you've probably seen it in life anyway, right? You've seen similar, or you've experienced similar. So without further ado,
Beloved, welcome back to the shop. So most people consider me to be a misogynist from different things that I say, and whatever label they want to put on there, I could not care less. My last short, I made a comment about heavy equipment or any equipment in general, and women don't tend to get along very well in my experience. And I'll share with you some of my experiences when it comes to that. I'm sick and tired of feminism and boomers telling me that there's no difference between men and women. I'm not saying one's better than another. I'm not up here to crawl up upon my manure pile and crow that I'm the superior race, but we do have our strengths and we do have our weaknesses. I'll tell you just one of many examples.
Before he gets going, that's the thing with these women. Like, I don't understand. And there was probably a point in time where I got offended too, that we're different, that there are things that men are better at, most things. It's not an attack. It's not an insult. Why are we so about it? I think there's a lot of propaganda and everything that just is intended to rev us up so that we're like, oh, it's happening. And it's just ridiculous. The other thing I wanted to point out that he said was he's sick of feminists and boomers. You guys, I can see it now with what the boomers did. We Gen Xers raised on, what did Bjorn say? Hose, water, and neglect. Boy, was that exactly right. You know, it's kind of like, well, go to school, pay attention to your teacher. There wasn't a whole lot of instruction about life except for school, career. So anyway, the boomers are a big problem, and they created a lot of the issues that we're dealing with now.
Throughout my life that I've had where women have come in and destroyed something that was working so well before them. The reason why I quit being a structural firefighter was because of women. I was in a department in Colorado. We ran 3 shifts from 2 different stations. And it was a really good group of guys. We were up at about 10,000 feet. Everyone was very fit. Everyone took their jobs very seriously, especially me. I was so fit at that time that I had the fastest time for the pack test in wildland firefighting in the county. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to demonstrate that we took this seriously, and we trained and we relied upon one another if we needed to if we ever got in danger. I knew that if I fell down with a full SCBA and the hose bundle and all my bunker gear, that my fellow teammates could drag me and get me out of there to safety. And
I have heard too from men who have served, particularly if they've served in combat, when they came home to their wives or their future wife, what they have said is that they never had the love and that they never had the love that they had amongst their brothers, in arms. They never had that love with their wife. They knew that those men would lay down their lives for them. They knew those men had their back. Every day, every minute, every hour, they could count on it. It was just solid. And they could tell, and they knew that they didn't have that with their wives. And I think that speaks volumes. And that's what this video reminds me of a lot, because this man is saying the same thing.
Vice versa, right? Because they were strong, capable men that trained for the particular job.
Yep.
About 6 months into that, the chief decided that he wanted to be inclusive and bring in some women, some younger women into this environment. Well, immediately what happened was what was once a brotherhood of guys that would cover shifts for one another, that would help out. We would go out afterwards. We'd play basketball. We would drink beer together. We just were always together. The injection of these two women, and these women were very promiscuous. They were 304s. They started sleeping with, going through all of the guys on multiple shifts. And then they would break up with one. And then pretty soon, within just 3 or 4 months, the whole cohesion and the whole brotherhood was completely broken up. And there were guys that were at odds with one another. It got so bad where the guys started to hate each other, where you wouldn't wouldn't cover shifts for the other guys that were once your friends because of the jealousy and all of the strife and just what these chaos demons brought.
You know, I've already recorded the video that is for tonight. This is Friday. And it was the same thing was covered about the women separating you from your friends. Now, this is different, but again, division. There's division. This was a brotherhood. This was a unit. And look what these women did. It's insane.
To this department. It didn't take 6 months for them to completely destroy all morale, destroy anyone wanting to be there before guys started leaving or looking for other places. It was absolutely a disaster. And they never tried, these women, they never tried to better themselves, in my opinion. They didn't improve themselves physically. I think that they liked to be there because it gave them access to a lot of guys. They thought that they looked cute in the uniform, and they got a whole bunch of attention.
It was firefighter Barbie. A lot of times with these careers, it's, it's firefighter Barbie or it's Dr. Barbie. Now, I'm not saying all female doctors are like that. I have a few female doctors. I'll admit it, and I hope that I've chosen wisely with the ones I have. But also, there are some, and they're usually nurse practitioners or nurses, and it's just dress up. It's like, well, I've got the outfit, I've got the accessories. No, you have to do the work and actually be qualified for the thing. But we have, it's dress up. It's firefighter Barbie is all it is.
No, in my opinion, they weren't serious about the job. And for one, not only did it destroy the department, but it also put the community at risk. It put everyone at risk.
Yeah.
I remember, well, I'm not going to go into details, but if you want to call me misogynist, I couldn't care less. I'm a critical thinker. My eyes are open. I can see and I can draw upon my years of experience, and I understand that there is a difference between men and women. And so for some academic or some feminist or for some young person to tell me that everything needs to be equal all the time, or we're all the same, and women can just do everything that men can do, that's just simply not true. We do things, I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but it's simply not true. And women can do things that men struggle with. We all have our strengths, but let's cut through the nonsense of everything that I can do as a 200-pound athletic, capable man that your average 130, 40-pound woman can do. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. So let's get over it and appreciate the differences and cultivate those so that we can stop fighting one another and stop competing. Because the last thing I'll tell you, and this is a guide to my female watchers, the last thing a man wants to do, if you're trying to figure out why you can't land a man, is to come home after doing battle with the world and compete and fight with a woman.
The problem with women, with a lot of the women, is they'll say, well, do you think I want to fight? Maybe if he, I wouldn't have to say these things. Maybe if he, blah, 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 blah. That's the issue. The women will say, well, I don't want to fight either, or I'm not arguing, I'm just reminding him. Lady, zip it. I had to learn it too. You guys, I can talk, but I had to learn too. It's not always your turn to talk. It's not always the right time to say a certain thing. And you know what? You're not the boss of everything. And maybe everybody doesn't need reminding. Maybe everybody doesn't want to be treated like a 6-year-old. So zip it. Learn to say things that are positive. Learn to say other things. And take responsibility and say, all right, maybe this woman has a valid thing, like this one thing, it's the dishwasher and it's squirting all over and they have, 6 kids. So it's really helpful. Although I'm thinking, well, if it's 6 kids and everybody starts washing dishes, that's quick. Anyway, let's say it's a thing and it's, it's leaking and it says that and the other. And for whatever reason, he's forgotten and you have to remind him. There are ways, right? We all know that. Look, if women are so good at language and communication and mental stuff, if we just use that for things that are benevolent, like I'm going to use this so that I say it in a way that doesn't make him feel condescended to, that doesn't make him feel this, that, or the other. All this ability to manipulate and twist and however, you can take that as a woman and you can use it for good. You can use it. I know you guys, your brains are going to explode when I say this, but you can use it to create and maintain the harmony. Or you can use it to be a chaos demon, like these chicks do.
She should be there to support. She should be behind the scenes supporting him, lifting him up so that the whole family can increase, can live in a better place, can have nicer food, nicer vacations, better clothing for their kids, drive better cars. You don't get that way when you're sleeping with the enemy. You need to be rowing in unison. Yeah. You got one person rowing one way and one person rowing another way. You spin circles and then you get a divorce and then everything fails. You row in the same direction. So don't compete with one another. Support one another. That's it. Rant over. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.
Okay. I like him. I'm going to watch more of his stuff now that we've done this video. Chaos demons. That's funny. What he was saying about rowing the boat, my brain was like, yeah, you got some women rowing the opposite way. You got some women drilling holes in the bottom of the boat. So yeah, no, who wants to do that? Who wants to come home and then just argue? Why? It's not necessary. Even if, I wish I could say this to all the women, even if there's in your brain something to argue about, doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't. And you'll feel a lot better if you don't. You really will. It's not going to make it better. It's really not. And striving to be right. So, like, what does that do? What is that going to do for you? These women, like, what is it going to do for you to be right and have the argument? Okay, good. You'll be alone. You're not going to be happier alone. But they're sabotaging all of it. But anyway, I'm very happy to find Wranglerstar. He seems like he's a very wise man, having lived in the real world, lifting heavy things, as they say. And women, I don't know why they have to be, in all of these spaces. We don't need to be a firefighter. Quick story. When I was a little girl, not that little, maybe 10-ish, 12-ish, I was hearing all the propaganda. So I said something to my mom about female firefighters or what have you. And she said, I don't think women should be firefighters. And I was like, my little self, I was indignant. I'm like, why? That's not okay. Why do you then? Blah, 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 blah. She said, because they can't do it. And again, I was like, because I wasn't really thinking about what the job is. The hose itself to manage when it is shooting that water out, the force by itself is so much that most women are not going to be able to hold on to that cannon and get it, maintain, like aim. And then, but this is what my mom said. She said, if I'm in a house and I am unconscious because of smoke inhalation, which is, what happens. She said, the last thing I want is a female firefighter to show up. She's not going to be able to carry me out. And immediately I was like, oh, wow. Facts, logic, something I cannot dispute. No, she's not. And my whole mind was just like, thank God for that. Thank God she said stuff like that to me that sort of broke the indoctrination, the propaganda from government schools and media, music, everything. Because then when I, saw, for example, Cassie J's The Red Pill, et cetera, it was easier to break through all of that because there were already cracks in that, in the foundation of the brainwashing. And so I'm glad she said, I wouldn't want a female firefighter to show up and rescue me. They're just not capable. There's other times I would want a female for other reasons. Usually it's when, it's like a nurturing thing. I've had nurses that were that way. I've even had doctors who were female that were very nurturing. I love my physical therapist. Love her so much. So, but we got some issues with some of these women. And these women busted up the whole brotherhood. And it's just really hard. And I guarantee you those men, if somebody had come in a time machine and said to those men, look, this is what's going to happen. Don't get involved this week with these women, et cetera, then they would have been like, okay, no. But they didn't know. And they allowed themselves to get all twisted up. Reminds me very much of a garden a long time ago where there was a snake and a tree and a fruit and a woman. And the woman had been told not to eat of this tree, and the snake convinced her otherwise. And then she tricked the man. And then it all fell apart. And it's very much like that. The women came in, tempted the men. It all fell apart. Men need to know that most of these women, not good news. They don't want what's best for you. Let's put it that way. So I wish you guys did have your spaces where you could have your brotherhood that you used to have, but they're infiltrating everywhere. So thanks for joining me on that one. And like I said, I'm going to put the link to that video in the description, and please go to his channel. He has a lot of subscribers, I've found out, but who doesn't need more? So if you're not subscribed to him, give him a look. You're probably going to like him. And sub his channel and like that video that we just watched together. I would really appreciate it. And hey, hit a like if you're still here on this video. Lola's asleep, so she can't tell you to do it. That's my little dog. I love you guys. I hope that you're feeding your soul today. I hope that you're protecting your peace. And I'm going to see you on the next one, hopefully later tonight.